What's the difference between a revocable living trust and an irrevocable trust? We get these concepts are often confused. A revocable living trust is a very valuable estate planning tool. The idea is you take assets that you have now, you put them into your name, whether it's your house, whether it's your bank accounts, all sorts of assets, put it into a revocable living trust that you are both the trustee of and that you are both the beneficiary of. So you are the creator of the trust, you are the trustee of the trust, you are the beneficiary of the trust while you're alive. And the benefit to that is when you become, if you become incapacitated, you can designate someone to take over and be in control of all of those assets that you've placed in the trust. And then the reason why most people use a revocable trust is after you have passed away, the assets remain in that trust, and the trustee, it then becomes irrevocable, and the trustee has to follow the instructions that are left behind, which says who gets what and when. And you get to do that without going to probate court, because if you are relying on your estate planning just based on your will, that just means you're going to probate court and then the judge follows your will, and that takes time, that takes a lot of extra money. So revocable trusts avoid that time, expense, and hassle. All right, that's a revocable trust. Revocable trust also offers nothing by way of asset protection to you. Assets that are in your revocable living trust from a creditor perspective are in your name and attachable and leviable and garnishable and all that good stuff. There's really no protection for your assets while you are alive. But when you pass away, the revocable trust again becomes irrevocable. And if it's drafted properly, the beneficiaries of those assets can enjoy some asset protection. So again, that's only after you've passed away. Now contrast that with an irrevocable trust. We often are dealing with these in a Medicaid planning context. I work with people who want to plan in advance to protect what assets they've worked so hard for and want to make sure that they don't have to waste all of it on home health care, paying for home health care, assisted living facility care, or nursing home care, because these long-term care costs can be quite expensive. So for that, we turn to an irrevocable trust. And an irrevocable trust offers asset protection while you're alive with, it's a little bit oversimplistic. It's assuming you're not already in debt, right? You can't, if you have a debt and you have a creditor who's kind of like looking to attach, you can't just throw everything in an irrevocable trust and expect it to be fine. So it's not really what, we're not doing it for people who have debts now. We're doing it for most people who really the biggest threat to your bank account is likely not these other third parties. It's likely the cost of long-term care. So an irrevocable trust, the idea is that while you're the creator of the trust, you are not the trustee and you are not the beneficiary of it. So because you have no control over what happens to the assets in that trust, creditors can't touch it. And also after 5 years, Medicaid cannot count it against you. There's a lot of benefit to that. Now, a lot of people get very nervous when I bring up the fact that they can't be the trustee for their own trust. And that is true. So we're not doing this. We're not doing this willy-nilly. We're doing this after careful thought and consideration. So a few security features I build in. The first one is we give you, as the creator of the trust, of an irrevocable asset protection trust, the ability to hire and fire the trustee. So while you yourself can never be a trustee, you can select the people who are. So that offers some measure of protection, make sure that they're doing the right thing. And you're always entitled to an accounting and you get to know what's going on. The other aspect that we like to incorporate into that is we don't put everything into the irrevocable trust. We leave a significant amount of assets outside of the trust so you don't have to rely on a trustee doing the right thing so you can live your life. And then what happens is the irrevocable trust, after you pass away, also doubles as your estate planning, right? The revocable trust becomes irrevocable. Now you have an irrevocable trust that stays irrevocable and dictates what happens to your assets after you passed away. So it offers you asset protection while you're alive. It offers you and your heirs asset protection after you passed away. And if you do need long-term care after 5 years of utilizing the irrevocable trust, everything in that trust essentially becomes invisible as far as Medicaid is concerned. So it can be a wonderful tool for people to use at the right time. I have lots in my Medicaid planning practice. I certainly have a number of clients who they need help now, and so they're not going to be a good candidate for using the irrevocable trust because they don't want to wait 5 years. They want to get help as soon as possible. So for those folks, we have lots of other planning tools available, just not the irrevocable trust. So I hope that answers the question. The difference between the revocable trust and the irrevocable trust. Sometimes we're using revocable trust and irrevocable trust together, and that's a whole other video. So we'll talk about that. And if you're interested in learning more, please schedule a consultation. Visit elderneedslaw.com. We service clients all throughout the state of Florida. Take care. Thank you for watching.